Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whatever it is. Anyway, this is a quick video on how to jump on a WordPress project that has a GitHub repo. So, essentially, what's happened is that someone has asked me to do, Michelle has asked me to do some tweaks to a dev site. She wants, and the site is called Call to Action. It's one of our support clients. This is the dev site that's online. She wants me to do some stuff, particularly reformat the menu so that all items fit on the same line. Now, on Espanol, which is a new thing, pops down. So they want to redo this, which requires some CSS changes, etc. So this is a website with a GitHub repo. I've never done anything on this website before, so I need to first pull down the GitHub repo, get things running locally, then commit a change, and then push it up, and then see how deploy works to deploy the change. So I thought it made sense to videotape this because this is something that some people are going to need to know how to do, and can get tricky if you don't know what you're doing. So to get this done, let's just review quickly why we're doing it this way. If we wanted to, we could, of course, just go commando. We could log into the web server here using Coda or something and just make a change to the style sheet. That would be a lot faster than this, and someone might be tempted to do that. The problem with doing that is that doing it that way causes a lot of problems down the road. And that's because that change isn't recorded in a GitHub repo. And what that means is that when someone else makes a change to the style sheet, they might overwrite what you just did. If two people are trying to change a style sheet at one time, they're going to overwrite each other. Also, our deployment systems are set up such that changes to the master branch of the GitHub repo are what deploy. So you might make a change to the dev site, but then not remember what to deploy to the live site after it's been approved, et cetera, et cetera. So although it takes some initial setup time, it's worth doing because it improves our workflow going forward. It does take a little bit of time. You can expect 15 minutes at least of time to get this set up. I'll go ahead and do it. The first step is to go to GitHub and log in using our master account at Benfreda Consulting and see is there a GitHub repo, and if there is, am I attached to it? So that's the first step. The second step is to pull down the GitHub repo to your server, your local computer. The third step is to get the WordPress website running locally on your local computer. The fourth step is to make a change and commit it. And the fifth step is to merge your changes with the master branch so that the master branch is all set. And then I guess the sixth step is to check that the change that you've made to the master branch is deploying where you need it to deploy. So those are six kind of big steps. We'll take the first one here, and that's to get yourself connected to the repo. I know that the repo is called CTA. This has all the changes to the call to action website. And I'm just going to make sure that I'm connected to it by going to settings and going to collaborators. I need my personal GitHub account to be one of the collaborators, otherwise I can't pull it down. Luckily, it says I am on there, so all good. So step one is done, which is awesome. Let's move on to step two, which is to pull down the GitHub repo to my local repository section of my computer. So I'm going to use the GitHub desktop app, which I like because it sort of does a lot of this stuff automatically. I'm going to have to go over here and clone the GitHub repo. I have here a list of all the GitHub repos that I'm on that I don't already have cloned on my local computer. One thing to note is that if you open up you might actually open up this GitHub client, look for a repo, realize you're not on it, then go to GitHub and add yourself, and then come back here and see that you're still not given the option to clone it. That's because if you have this only gets checked and updated every time the program runs. So you might quit and then reopen it, and it will find all the GitHub repos that you're on. In my case, CTA is there, so I'm going to click clone. I'm going to click it. I'm going to clone it right into my repos directory, which I have saved. Takes a second, but let's just check it out. once it's finished, I can go to my computer and go to my repos directory, and I'll see, hey, there's CTA. There's all the files. Awesome. I could actually go ahead and edit these files right now if I wanted to, and commit those changes. But I don't know. It's sort of lame to do that because I can't test what I'm doing on the actual website. So that was step 2, and step 2 is finished. Okay, so that's excellent. Number 1 and number 2 checked off our list. Number 3 is, now that I've got the repo cloned, get the website running locally so I can see it. This is harder on Drupal than it is on WordPress. Luckily, this is a WordPress example, so this is going to be relatively easy. I've got the files on my local computer, and I'm going to open up MAMP, which is the program that we use most often to run web servers on our local drives. And I'm going to add a new host, and that's called cta.localhost. And I'm going to point that host to my repo folder, which is CTA. I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to save. It's going to say, do you want to restart? Yes. Oh, it's not even started. So I'm going to click Start. And now I am going to, now I've got, at least got a website running locally. So now I'm going to fire it up by clicking on this. It's going to open my thing. And guess what? I'm not getting the CTA website. It should look like this, and instead it looks like this. Now, why is that? The reason is because one of the files, when you copy a cloned repo, one of the files that's not in there is wp-config, which is the configuration file that stores all the information about the database. Why is that not in there? That's because for every instance, wherever this is running, that's going to be different. So if it's on the dev site, the database is going to be one thing. If it's on the live site, the database is going to be a different thing. If you're running the site locally, the database is going to be a different thing. And if that file was in the repo, it would just deploy it to each of those environments, regardless of what the environment was, and the database would stop working every time you did a deployment. Now, so there's no wp-config file in the repo. And that means when you fire up the website, it doesn't, because when there is no wp-config file, WordPress thinks it's time to install. That's actually accurate. Let's let WordPress do what it wants to do, which is to install itself. All the files are there, but except for the wp-config file, stepping through the install process is going to create a wp-config file automatically. So that's pretty sweet. So let's let it do that. It says, welcome to WordPress. We need to get started by getting some information from you. Now, it's asking for database connection details. It needs the database connection details on my local computer. I haven't set up a database for this on my local computer yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Luckily, that's doable through MAMP. You can click on this web start here and go to Tools, PHPMyAdmin. And what I like to do is just create a new database. So I'm going to call this CTA, let's say. Now, I've created a new empty database. Let's see here. There it is. And that's all I need. So let's go back to my WordPress setup. The database name I said is CTA. The username and password is going to depend on your settings in MAMP. The default settings are root and root. But you can change that. If you haven't changed it, I would assume it's going to be root, and the rest of these are fine. So it says, all right, great, you're done. Now it asks for some basic information about the site title and stuff. You can enter whatever you want here because we're actually going to replace all this information in a second, and you'll see how. But I'm just going to say admin. I'm just going to say bonkers because I'm just going to use this temporarily. Oops. And it doesn't matter. You can put in any email here. Oh, wow, it doesn't let me use this. So I'm going to do bonkers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, it still doesn't let me do it. All right, fine. Oh, no, you can confirm using weak password. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And now, guess what? I have CTA installed. Now, this is a little bit funky because if I still go to the website, it looks like this. It doesn't look right. And the reason is because there's a whole bunch of themes here that the theme hasn't been turned on. The plugins haven't been turned on. There are posts and pages that we haven't put in. This website is as if we installed WordPress from the same file set as this one, but without any of the data that's in there. So that's kind of sucky. So if you wanted to, you could go through and manually turn on all the plugins that need to do and redo the menus and put in all the posts and all that kind of stuff. But we have a better way, and that way is called WP Migrate Pro, and that is a here it is, and WP Migrate Pro Media Files. That is a plugin that does all that for us. It's really great. So the plugin has been activated. We need to enter our license key. So the question is, what's our license key? Well, the license key, I think, is in Team Password. Let's just find out. For WP Migrate Pro, the company that makes it is called Delicious Brains, which is kind of hilarious. And it looks like that the key is not in there, so we're going to have to go ahead and log into our account at Delicious Brains and find the license key for WP Migrate Pro, and that's actually pretty easy. That's just here. Let's go here and activate the license. Okay, awesome. And now what we can do is we can migrate. We can pull a remote sites database in, and what that means is pull in all the pull in all the data, so all the posts, all the menu items, all the widgets, everything from here, the settings on the theme. That's the last step to do this. So to do that, we need to pull in the connection info. To figure out what the connection info is, we need to go to the source website, which is going to be the dev site here. We could also pull in all the information from the live site instead, but because we are going to be deploying to the dev site, it's better to do it that way. So let's see, call to action, dev WP admin, so that's what I need. Excellent. Let's use this and let's use this. Okay, and see, it's quite a bit different. It has the same file set, but a lot of things have been turned on and all that kind of stuff. So let's go to the same WP Migrate Pro here, and what we can do is we can find the settings, and we can get the connection info for this CTA2, benfrediconsulting.com. We can paste it in here, and guess what? Oh, it says version mismatch. You have version 1.54, but we're using 1.353 here. So we're going to have to update this. We're updating it on the local version. That's been updated. Now we have 1.55 at this local version, which means we also have to update the version on CTA2. Let's do that. Okay, excellent. That's all been done. Let's go to Tools, WP Migrate Pro, Tools, WP Migrate Pro, and do this again. Oh, it looks like WP Migrate Pro Media Files is now available. All right, well, let's update that as well, and let's update that on this one. Great, localhost is finished, so that's pretty cool, and the remote website is just about finished. Okay, great. So let's do that now. Now our version mismatch has been fixed. Let's copy the source website's connection info. Let's do a migrate where we pull and we paste the source website's connection info here. Oh, the connection succeeded, but the remote site is configured to reject pull connections. Well, that's stupid. Let's accept pull connections. Yeah, much better. I don't know why you would reject pull. Anyway, here we're going to try again, and it worked. The other thing we're going to do is actually migrate all the media files too, which means all of the files that users have uploaded, like for pictures and stuff, inside content. I'm also going to save the migration profile in case we have to do this again. And then I'm going to pull and save. Now, this process first copies the database tables from the source website, so we're going to get all the right content and all the right settings and all the plugins and all the plugin settings and the menu and stuff. And then it's going to go through and through the WP uploads folder and pull in all the media files that have been attached to content. That's going to take a while, so this can take up to like 5 minutes or something. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause on this video, and we'll resume when this is finished. All right, so it is finished pulling. And now you're going to see why this is so magical. Because if I visit site, it's all there. It did it, all the font, all the content, all the stuff. Everything is all you need to do. Even the pop-up is there. So pretty sweet. So that's really step, man, I don't know if it's 3 or 4. I don't know what step we're on. It's been a while since I paused the video and restarted it. So bottom line is what we have now is not only are we hooked up with the GitHub repo, but we have the whole site running locally. So I can make a change to the CSS if I want to, and it'll reflect in my thing. So let's make a quick change to this. I'm just going to make the font size smaller on these top menus just for fun, just to demonstrate a quick change. It looks like these are on style 4.4. No, it's responsive. 469, and let's just see what the path of that is, CTA custom style. So let's make a change, and let's see that change reflected in my the version of the site that's running locally, and let's commit that change. So content theme CTA custom, and I think it was called style. So on line 469, let us font size, looks like it's 21 pixels, so let's chart that down to about 16 pixels and see what happens. Yay, it all fits! That's awesome. There's still some issues here. It looks like this thing doesn't exactly line up, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm just going to demonstrate that. Now that I've made that change, I'm going to go ahead and commit it. It looks like I made it directly in the master branch. I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have taken a branch for myself. But now it's too late, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Commit change. So there's actually 2 things going on here. Some of the file changes relate to the update to WP Migrate Pro plugin that we did, plus decrease font size menu. I'm going to sync the master branch. When I commit and sync, I've committed, I've sank, I guess. I'm going to go back to GitHub and just sort of demonstrate that it's done that. It has just now. So now the question is, how do we get that change over to the dev site? Is that what's gonna happen? Now it kind of depends. Most of the time, we use a service called deploy.io. I guess now it's called deploybot.com, that manages when you make a change to a GitHub repo, to what development/live sites does it deploy? Does it do that automatically? Do you have to tell it to do it? So we'll see how that looks. I'm going to go to deploybot. It's bfcdevelopment.deploybot.com. Credentials are, of course, in team password. And we have repositories here. CTA should be a repository. Here it is. The repository is hooked up in deploybot. And it's connected to 2 different environments. One is the CTA dev server, and one is the live server. It looks like the CTA dev server that's probably cta2.benfordconsulting.com. You can see that it is here, and you can see that the deployment is made automatically from the master branch. What does that mean? That means whenever this detects a change in the GitHub master branch of the CTA repository, it deploys that change to this environment. That means that it should have already deployed. Now let's just take a look at the history. And we can see, oh yeah, it did deploy to the development site, and this is the development site. Now, how come it's still big? Because you need to reload. That's why. It's cached. I'm almost positive. That is why. So now it went to the dev site. Now, if I wanted to deploy that change to the live site as well, which I don't want to do in this case because I'm not done with all the stuff I'm going to do, and I need Alice to approve it, or Michelle, or whoever. The live server is also connected through deploy.io. I would imagine this is set to manually deploy. Yeah, you can see up here it says manual, and you can also see here it says manual. That means that it's not, when it detects a change to the master branch of the GitHub repo, it's not going to automatically deploy it. You have to tell it to do that by clicking this deploy button. However, it would be pretty easy, though, if I wanted to do it. I could click this deploy button, and I would get a screen that says, "Are you sure?" And I'd say, "Yes, I'm sure." And it would automatically deploy the change to the live site. Now you see, if you're watching this, and you've been wondering why we're going through this entire rigmarole, this is why. The reason we do GitHub repo deployments, among other reasons, but one of the main reasons is that we can easily deploy changes to development. We can easily deploy changes to live. We can deploy a change to development, and if they don't like it, we can roll it back. And we can do that all through here, and no one needs to log in to some development server and upload some unknown number of files and try and remember which files to upload, and then try and remember to do the same thing next week on live when that change has been approved by the client, etc., etc. This system makes it really, really easy to automatically have those things happen. If someone else was to jump on this project and make a different change to the style sheet and then commit that to the master branch, it would also deploy automatically. We wouldn't overwrite each other. This is kind of a magical system, and this is why we do all of this crap to get it set up. Anyway, now that I'm set up, I'm ready to roll. I can do whatever I want. I can make changes to my local version of the website. I can look at those changes. I can change those changes. If I ever forget how to look at the local host website, I can go there and click. And there we are. So that's the video. Hopefully that was helpful. Obviously, any questions, tell me.